Hello everybody and welcome to our live studio show here, round 11 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. This is the Liqui Moly MXGP of Germany and we're back at Teufelstal. My name's Paul Malin. I'll be joined by Lisa Leyland as always, but coming up on today's show, our guests. Our first one is already in the house, Isak Gifting from Hitachi KTM, fueled by Milwaukee. We've got Brent Van Donick coming in from Riley Racing, and then finally Jason Thomas from Fly Racing. But before we meet them, Lisa, here we are back in Germany. The weekend we've all been waiting for, because next weekend we get a weekend off before we go to Indonesia, then we have a couple more weekends, but you're going to be getting married as well during that time, so we won't see you for 5 weeks.
You're going to miss me, aren't you?
I am not, yes.
No, I mean, it has been, we've had 3 back-to-back, so it's been pretty intense. But, yeah, Germany's the one we know and love, and it's good to be here, isn't it?
It's absolutely fantastic to be here, and I can't wait for that weekend off. As I'm sure our first guest can't wait either. Isak Gifting, Hitachi KTM, fueled by Milwaukee. Good to see you, Isak. 7th in the MX2 World Championship standings at the moment. How would you describe your season to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been making a lot of progress since last year, actually, because I've been a little bit more consistent, taking points like in every moto. Sometimes I'm up there, sometimes I'm on the ground quite a lot, unfortunately, but I'm still like been able to do pretty good damage control and like finish around 10th position all the time. And yeah, I think that's why I'm 7th in the championship so far.
Well, looking at the standings this time last year, you're already better placed after the first 10 rounds. So as you said, it's a step in the right direction. You're getting that kind of consistency. But watching some of the races where you've been up there, I guess, you know, with those little mistakes, you just kind of feel I feel maybe you expect a little bit more of yourself as well.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's like, some of the races, like everything started to go in the right direction. I started to get faster and be closer to the top, and then I eventually got pretty close to the podium. So that's one thing you like in your mind, because I haven't been on the podium before, so that's where I want to be. So I'm always striving for that. So when I'm like in the top 5, I still want to go forward, and it's like sometimes I go a little bit over my limit, or I lose the focus maybe, and I end up on the ground, and then I end up like 10th position. And yeah, that's something I need to minimize. I'm trying to work with it.
It's not for the lack of trying, though.
No, it's normally the other way.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the podium. It is your second full season in MX2. You have been close to the podium a number of times, but do you feel like it is only a matter of time before you get to experience the podium?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I feel like I should be there, but it's also like I don't have so much years. I only have 1 more year in MX2, so it's like I want to make it happen, because I feel like when I do it, everything will just keep going in the right direction after that. So I feel like it's just a step I need to make to be able to go forward.
That step you need to make, what is it going to take for you to get your first podium? I mean, you clearly have the speed, don't you? But what is that step?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like I just need to minimize the mistakes, not end up on the ground. Because if I'm a little bit more consistent with that, I'm normally pretty good in the starts. And if I can just stay there and try to be around top 5 in a lot of the motos, then eventually you will be kind of lucky and you will end up there. Because there's a lot of things happening in this class. People are crashing, and yeah, I think it will happen eventually.
Is it more intense this year than last year, do you feel?
I feel like there's more people that can end up in the top positions. Definitely, like you can be top 3 or you can be 10th position, and those, like which rider is where, is like it turns around a lot. So I would say so. Yeah, it's a lot closer. Also, the points are really close, and yeah, it's a good season though. It's great racing all the time.
But as I said, there are quite a lot of variables, aren't there, as well as to what makes the difference between that sort of first 3, next 5, or whatever, whether it's a good start, staying up on the first lap, minding your own business and somebody just coming and taking you out. It's just, you have to be so switched on in those first couple of laps, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. And at the same time, you need to just be so aggressive like those first laps, because even if you're in top 5, it's if you're a little bit laid back, you lose a lot of position straight away. And yeah, that's also where when you're trying to be aggressive and maybe you go for the pass for, I don't know, 4th or 5th, then you go down instead. Yeah, it's a hard game to play, but yeah, I'm trying to make it happen. It's easier if you're there every time. But for me, like, I can have a good weekend and then I know I can maybe do the podium, and that puts a lot of pressure on. But yeah, we will get there.
Yeah. Well, how was France for you? Because in that first race, you rode top 5 for quite some time, didn't you? Do you feel like that circuit suited you? Do you feel like you rode okay that weekend?
I was struggling quite a lot in France, to be honest, all weekend. Especially, and it showed very well in that first moto, because I was good in the start, and then I was basically just dropping back, and that got me pretty stressed. And then eventually I ended up on the ground again, and I don't know where I finished, like 9th maybe. And that's how a lot of motos go for me.
But it also highlights the importance of a good start. And if you're bringing your A game and you get a good start, you're going the opposite way rather than, you know, like you just said, making a couple of mistakes. So
yeah,
you keep getting those good starts, something will click, and next minute, you know, you're going to be a couple of top 3s and on that podium. And
yeah, I think so. And also this week, like, because I was struggling a lot in France. We've been actually testing around a little bit with the bike, and we've been training in Lelystad with a lot of big ruts and stuff, trying to like get the feeling for this track, because normally also this track gets a lot of ruts. So hopefully I can turn around a little bit, because now I had 2 weekends, like, yeah, not very good, both Spain and France, where the results weren't that great as I wanted to. But I think we can turn it around for Germany now.
All right, and talking to Germany, looks nice at the moment. Is this the track you like?
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. I like the ruts and everything. It looks actually a little bit harder now than last year.
Yeah.
But I haven't been out yet, so we'll see.
I've noticed in and around the paddock over the last sort of few weeks, quite a few Swedish fans turning up now in the Yellows and the Vikings and all the rest of it. Obviously fans of yours. It's pretty cool to see. Do you feel their energy as well, you know, when they're in and around the paddock and trackside? Because they're pretty crazy people, aren't they, these guys?
Normally, yeah, they are actually. I appreciate it a lot. Like, I can't believe I actually have some fans out there. It's unbelievable. Like in Spain, it's just a few guys showed up there. I didn't know them. That was great. Also this weekend, a lot of my friends are here. I like it a lot. But it's all building up for Uddevalla. That would be the big thing, I guess. Yeah.
Lol.
Lol, yeah.
Yeah, Sweden, good one. Obviously, we're going back there this year, so you're obviously looking forward to that.
Finally, my first GP there.
Amazing.
Wow. Well, look, Isak, we're out of time. Thanks for joining us. All the best for the GP this weekend in Germany and all the rest of the season. And we look forward to not watching you here, but also Sweden and seeing what that one brings.
Yeah, thanks.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right, hopefully our second guest is here, and I've not seen whether he is or not, but if so, we will be meeting Brent Van Donick in a moment. But before we do, here's some highlights from what happened 1 week ago in the Monster Energy MXGP of France. Enjoy.
Fans on their feet, the noise already bellowing around this Ernée racetrack. And it's Vial who crosses the foxhole shot line. But he is leading in front of the home fans at the first time of asking. Berniston alongside him takes over the lead though. Jago Geerts in 8th place with a lot of work to do. In fact, he's already up to 3rd, 4th place just behind Everts. 3rd now at the top of the hill. The atmosphere here, football-esque, stadium-like. Geerts, charges down the inside. Beautiful move that from the Belgian. Jago Geerts knows that if he is to win the overall Grand Prix at the moment, he has to find a way past his teammate, Thibaut Berniston. Right, where's Vial? He's lost time. He's 15 seconds down. He's made a mistake. Through that top right-hander, I bet. Just trying to straighten out the handlebars and the clutch lever. So that's what cost him the 15 seconds. Tom Vial, all of a sudden, losing a lot of time, and Horgmo is all over the back of him now. Tom Vial under attack from Kevin Horgmo. Horgmo finds a way past the Frenchman. Geerts wins the overall. Isak Gifting with the fastest lap of the race, reducing the gap, going after his teammate all of a sudden with 3 laps to go. To win the overall Grand Prix, Gifting cannot rely on Horgmo finding his way past Vial. He has to beat Beniston as it stands right now. Final lap showdown between the two Monster Energy Yamahas, Beniston and Gifting. They are separated by less than a second. Peter Pollock, the back marker ahead at Beniston. Is he going to interfere with play here? He's seen the leader go by, and right now he is getting involved in this battle that does not concern him. And all of a sudden, the battle is done. The fans erupt. Final turn. Thibaut Beniston wins race 2. He wins here in France. But the Red Bull KTM rider, a winner in race 1, third in race 2, will cross the line victorious. Makes it back-to-back home wins here. This one at Doninck.
Tom Vial, congratulations. You gave your French fans something to cheer about with back-to-back overall victories and on home soil.
To be fair, I didn't know. Actually, I was a big surprise. When I crashed, I was really mad on myself. And I just tried to control the race, but I didn't know I win the GP, so thanks to the whole fan. It's amazing when you ride this. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
The Monster Energy MXGP of France belongs to Tom Vial. A win and a third. And in the championship, Tom Vial now 11 points clear of Isak Gifting.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our live studio show here on MXGPTV.com. We're also on Facebook and YouTube, I believe, as well. Our second guest is in, and that's Brent Van Donick, and of course Brent riding for Riley Jumbo Racing Yamaha. Brent, good to see you. Round 11 here in Germany. Yeah. Fantastic weekend last weekend, 5th overall in France. Not a bad weekend. 6th overall. Yeah. Not a bad weekend, was it?
No, it was my best weekend so far, of course. Had a pretty good start in the first moto. Of course, some guys crashed, you know, some of the top guys. But, you know, after all, I was just riding good the whole moto, I think. And, second moto didn't work out at a bad start and made too much mistakes. But at the end was a good day. Well,
talk about that first race. Third in race 1. Your first top 3 in the MXGP class. How were the emotions after the race? Because obviously you've still got that second race to think about. Were you kind of up here and they needed to pull you down, or were you just like, nah, it's third, it's okay?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, when I finished the moto, I didn't really realize it at first, you know.
Yeah.
I was just, I mean, it was a tough race, but then everyone hyped me up, you know. Yeah. You know, third, and then I was so glad, of course. I mean, yeah, it was a really good race.
Obviously difficult track conditions, although perfect pretty much for Sunday. Did you enjoy riding there?
Yeah, really. This is one of my favorite tracks, actually.
Okay.
Next to Majora. I really like this tracks like with big hills, you know, and you know, for me, way better compared to Spain. I really like this elevation in the track and
more natural.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and what has that result in France done for your confidence going forward?
Yeah, of course, it gives you a little bit of a confidence boost. I mean, but you always have to stay realistic. You know, I know I'm a top 10 rider. I can be a top 10 rider, but I don't have to be. Yeah, I don't want to go too far because I had a third. You know, so that, like I said, I have to stay realistic and just keep building and I'm always doing my best. You know, so whatever I end up, I always did my best.
Yeah. And to get that result on hard pack as well. I mean, I'm not saying you're a Sandman or anything, but you are kind of a bit of a Sandman, aren't you, really? So that was even more of a surprise, I guess.
Yeah, because this is actually my best result so far in GPs. Because I had 2 podiums in 2015 and 2017 with 2 fourth place finishes. So so it was great.
Quite a big event.
Yeah.
And obviously, you talking about sand races, obviously those podiums did come in the sand as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
That brings us nicely to Sardinia. And of course, Brent Van Donick.
Yeah. That's a dad joke.
Sure,
that's a dad joke.
Dad o'clock yet.
I knew you were going to get one in there somewhere.
Well, look, a good start here in Sardinia. I think you eventually finished 7th in this race, but up at the sharp end. And you battled with the guys who made it to the podium, obviously Calvin and whatever else.
Yeah.
How was that weekend for you? It looked like fun.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good weekend also. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish that second moto. I had a bike failure, and I also crashed in the start. But yeah, that was a good weekend also. I like this tough races where it really comes to the physical part, you know, because I feel this year I'm in good shape. I feel strong, and yeah, that was a good day.
Yeah. But also at Sardinia, it was it was the first really hot race, wasn't it? What was it like racing in those conditions with that sand and also with the heat?
Yeah, that was tough. Madrid was even warmer, I think. But yeah, this track is way physically harder. But yeah, like I said, I'm in good shape. So when I know that it's going to be a tough day, I'm really looking forward to it because I know that. Yeah.
And actually, Sardinia, I mean, as deep as the sand is, the physicality with the heat, but the fitness side, you have to be on the gas the whole time because otherwise you're just always heavy on the front end, and that then is, you know, taking the fitness as well, isn't it? So you're just pushing the whole motor.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes at the end of a race when it's that hot and warm and deep, then sometimes you want to just slow down a little bit. And that makes it even worse. Oh. Like it doesn't make a difference. You don't get you don't feel better. So there's only one option, and that's, you know, just go for it the whole moto to the end.
Well, look, we're back at Teushenthal here. You're actually 6th overall here in the MX2 class a few years back.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a track, again, that you like. And I guess what you said earlier about Major and about Ernée, this is one of those old-school tracks with hills and just maybe the nature of the dirt. So I guess you enjoy riding here. So are you looking forward to it this weekend?
Yeah, sure. I really like the track. Like you said, it's a national track. But last year I had a tough weekend here, tough day. But like I said, I had good races, bad races here. I mean, it's but I like it. I like the track. Yeah.
Are you one of those riders then that sometimes when you've had a bad race somewhere, it plays on your mind a little bit? You're not able to shut that off?
No, not really, because like in the past I saw already that not every year is the same. You know, just also like these tracks, they're always prepared different. I feel like, you know, every year it's never like the same track, same. So I mean. I just hope they don't rip it that deep this weekend. It
doesn't look too deep at the moment, actually, and you know, the ruts are just starting to appear. But I think actually it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So you'll be all right.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, look, Brent, we are out of time. Thanks for joining us. Riley Jumbo Racing Yamaha rider Brent Van Donick. Jason Thomas is coming in to see us next. We'll catch up with him in just a few moments. Here's some highlights though from MX2 Race 2 from France.
MXGP Race 2, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. Who will it be that grabs that foxhole shot? It was foxhole shot number 10 for Jorge Prado in race 1. Prado once again, 11 foxhole shots for the 61. To be hard on the brakes, and you have to attack this downhill. Can he split the two riders? Yes, he can. He goes from 3rd to 2nd with that move on Paturel. Benoit Paturel down again. This time doesn't look like he's going to get up. Maxime Renault with his hands full. Guys are all over the back of him now as they dispute 5th place. Look how the track is chewed up as you enter that wave section on the highest plateau here at this Ernée circuit. Geiser almost finding his way past Renault, and he does after a mistake from the Frenchman. Geiser now up in the 5th place. the battle for the lead is being duked out here between the Spaniard and the Dutchman, the 61 and the 259 of Prado and Coldenhoff. A mistake there from Prado as well, and Coldenhoff is going to be almost alongside as they come into land top of the hill, and Coldenhoff does go through, takes over the lead on lap 11. Coldenhoff is on the podium as it stands right now, but if Geiser makes one pass and he's going after Siwa, he will knock Coldenhoff off the podium, and they're very close at the top of the hill. As we said, a lot to play for here in the final 4 minutes plus 2 laps. Siwa knows he is feeling the heat from behind. Ah, Geiser tips over, picks himself up. Is that a let-off for Siwa? Oh, banging bars! Nudges Prado aside. Siwa will have the position at the top of the hill. He does. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. Glenn Coldenhoff wins the race, and Jeremy Siwa wins the Grand Prix in what was a Yamaha 1-2 in race 2. Jorge Prado hangs on for third, Geiser fourth. Jeremy Siwa wins for the first time in 2022 with a win and a second. Tim Geiser extends his lead from 66 to 73 points over Maxime Renault, who also had a tough day here at home. Hello everybody, welcome back to our final part on our live studio show here on MXGP TV with me, Paul Malin and Lisa Leyland. Our third and final guest is in now. Fly Racing's Jason Thomas, fresh in from the US. Jason, good to see you here and welcome to Germany. A venue where we've had some fantastic racing over the years. Motocross Nations back in 2013, I know you were here, I think, that weekend. And of course, last year as well, there was a little bit of excitement and drama.
Yeah, this is, Germany is like second home for me. I probably spent a couple of years of my life here. So haven't been to this venue since 2013, as you mentioned. Weather's a tiny bit better this weekend. But, yeah, I'm excited. Series seems to be shaping up pretty well.
Well, the last time we saw you and the last time you joined us in the booth was Portugal. So quite a few rounds ago, round 4, I believe, after Argentina. What have you made of the racing since then?
Well, it's interesting how tough of a time Tim Geiser's been. I think everybody's almost handed him the championship trophy so far, and he does have a really large points lead, but if you look over the last few weeks, it doesn't seem that way. I think if you're Jorge Prado and some of these other guys, you have to understand that the door is open, and there's a possibility for wins if Tim continues to make mistakes.
Well, perhaps one of the biggest surprises was Sardinia. We saw Calvin Vlanderen on the top step, double race win victory. How good was it to see that?
Surprising,
yeah.
Kind of out of nowhere, and you go to these events like Sardinia and some of the outlier events where the conditions are so challenging and maybe you see the different results. But you could see the joy for Calvin. I mean, it was incredible. I was a little, I was bummed from last week and just had a terrible weekend. But yeah, that's the life and times of MXGP, up and down.
But we had him on the studio show the week after this, and he said actually going in, his mindset was better because he knew he was 4th overall last year, but the top 3 guys who beat him weren't there. So it was like one of those, well, then a podium for sure, but a win, and that's the value of sort of that mental power, isn't it?
Yeah, and you see the Dutch side of Calvin Vlanderen coming out in the sand, and yeah, just an incredible day. I mean, to go 1-1 is a really powerful statement. Guys kind of back into wins at times. You don't back into a 1-1.
No.
Well, just after you left Portugal, you mentioned Tim Geiser. He had 3 GP wins on the bounce, but these past 3 rounds, he hasn't made the podium. What do you make of that?
Well, last weekend, I think he certainly had the speed to. Obviously, starting on the outside and the challenges from Saturday, I think precluded him from getting a good result. Not everybody can get the starts that Jorge Prado can from the outside. So I think if timid race Saturday, got in good gate pick for Sunday. I think that the result is wildly different, and I think you'll see that play out probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
But also, Sardinia and Spain, he was sort of shaking off the after effects of sickness. Last weekend, not so much, but just one or two uncharacteristic mistakes, as we saw in that race 2 replay. Should he have any concerns right now, as a general follower of the sport, or do you think he's got this under control and he can bounce back here?
Well, I don't think so, because if you look at the guys around him, they're not necessarily being very consistent either. You know, Maxime Renault having his struggles, Jorge Prado's been all over the map, and even is having a hard time finishing the deal in some of these races, you know, that he's could win. So if you look at it, if he was facing Jeffrey Hurlings, facing a healthy Romain Febvre, yes, he should be very concerned over the last few weeks, but everyone else is kind of allowing him to struggle a little bit and not really paying a price for it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal start to the season. What was it, like 10 race wins in 14 and 7 podiums, 6 of those as a win and 1 as a second place. The last 3 podiums, though, have all belonged to Yamaha, with Calvin Vlaardin winning in Sardinia, Maxim in Spain, and then Jeremy last week in France. Seems they have upped their game a little bit recently as well, because they've not only just won the last 3 rounds, they've had double podiums, first and second, third, whatever, you know?
Yeah, and even Glenn gets a race win last week. So
well, he's had 3 in a row.
Of course, yeah. So you don't know if it's a bike settings change or just camaraderie of the team all kind of working together, but I still see so much opportunity. You know, Brent was just on in here, and incredible ride from him last weekend. So it seems like if you are able to have your best self on that day, there are opportunities here, you know, with injuries and guys. So I think you're going to continue to see that. There will be opportunity. It's just going to be who kind of steps up and fills that void.
Well, for Jorge Prado, 2 podiums from the last 3 rounds. As we just mentioned, Glenn, he's had 3 podiums on the bounce. What can we expect from those 2 in the next few rounds?
Well, I think Jorge is a work in progress. He even mentioned that he needs another 5 to 10 minutes of full sprint speed, and that will come. That just takes time. There is no way to draw shortcuts to get there. But if he does find that in the next month or so, he's going to rack up a lot of race wins. You see the sprint speed at the beginning. The starts are still there. Every ingredient is there for him to win a lot in this class. He just needs a little bit more fitness, but that will come.
And obviously this was a weekend where Maxim, went 1-1 as well for his first Premier Class Grand Prix victory. What did you make of that Spanish GP? There was a lot of drama. Obviously, Jorge crashed whilst leading the second race, but, there was a lot of other stuff going on around that as well.
Yeah, I really expected Jorge to win. You know, he's been almost unbeatable at that Spanish GP, and I think if you had pushed that GP another month into the season where Jorge has a little bit better fitness, he does win that race. So I think it was a little bit of a precursor of things to come, and it also shows the capability of Maxime, right? He's still working through, I think, just the rookie mistakes, and he's still young, right? And but I think a year, 2 years out, you could be looking at a 450 world champion, MXGP world champion, which I would have never thought. I just did not think he was going to step up and be this good.
Well, you're already surprised at his 5 podiums.
I am, absolutely. I thought it was a mistake to move to MXGP.
Yeah.
I thought he would have been better served to stay in MX2 one more year, but he's proving everyone that was in that camp wrong. Yeah, there's been a little bit of inconsistency. I think that's to be expected, but to be winning in this class this quickly is I think if you went around and asked his competitors, they're a little bit surprised as well.
A person that we've not spoke about yet because he's not featured so far this year, Romain Febvre, he makes a return this weekend. Whether he's 100% or not, it's nice to have him back.
Yeah, and I think, this gives him an opportunity to work through the cobwebs a little bit. There's no pressure. The championship's done. There's no, contract pressure, anything like that. But I think to get through the weekend today, I think it'll be, we'll learn a lot today about where he is, where his fitness is, where his speed is.
And where the bike is, because a whole new team around him.
Absolutely. And I don't think he could answer those questions either. I think he has a lot of questions within himself that he has to answer. And I think it's just going to be a gradual process. I don't think you can expect too much this weekend. But as we start to transition, go to Indonesia and the season rolls on, yeah, he's still Romain Febvre and he'll be back to form.
Yeah, and there's a couple of races later on in the season that he's going to be okay at. Lockett, for instance, that hard slick surface where he just likes to drift and ride on throttle control. So it'd be interesting to see how his season plays out from here.
Yeah, just like we were saying with the other opportunities, the Yamaha guys have all stepped up. Those opportunities will still be there from Romain as well, right? He just needs to get back to form. And 2 surgeries on the same leg. He hasn't raced since November. So that's a lot to ask of him. That's a pretty heavy injury that he's coming off of. So I think as long as everyone's patient, yeah, things will come.
All right. Well, look, Jason Thomas, Fly Racing, thanks for joining us in our studio show. And, of course, Jason will be with us in the commentary booth as well. Before we go, we'll be back in 2 weeks in Indonesia. You won't be here, Lisa. You're going off to get married. Hope you enjoy enjoy your day. Enjoy the few days in and around that as well. And
Thanks,
we will
Paul.
see you whenever the next race is after that.
Miss you.
Yeah.
Not.
Well, look, we are out of time, but just reminder that we are back 2:40 today with the first race of the day, MX2 50. As you can see on the schedule there, 125 race 1 presented by FMF Racing. And the qualifying races, MX2 and MXGP, to close out the day. Of course, we'll be live tomorrow as well. So thanks for watching. See you next time. I'll see you in Indonesia, but enjoy the race here in Germany.